Hello there, good people, and welcome to It's a Shaw Thing. I'm your host, Rob Shaw. We're talking some fantasy football. A lot of excitement going on. We have plenty of news and notes to share with you, and we're going to start off at the quarterback position. We have 4 items to go over. We're going to start in Dallas. Tony Romo, out for a couple of weeks, perhaps as long as a month, because of a broken pinky suffered in the overtime against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals have been ruthless against quarterbacks lately. Now, Romo's going to be out. That being said, Brad Johnson is moving on in. The 40-year-old quarterback had some great years behind him in Tampa Bay, winning a Super Bowl, also well known for his days at Florida State, sharing the credit with Casey Weldon there. Now, what to expect from Brad Johnson? Well, he's got some great weapons to throw the ball to. He should be pretty good. He's an efficient quarterback, doesn't make many mistakes. He's a pretty safe option. Think of him as a Chad Pennington, but with much more talent around him. We'll get to that in a little bit, as the Cowboys have had a big addition once again. All right, next up, let's talk about Carson Palmer of the Cincinnati Bengals. He will be out of action once again this weekend, so Ryan Fitzpatrick gets another start. Bad situation for that team. They've been very erratic, particularly with TJ Houshmandzadeh and Chad Johnson. Both players don't have much fantasy value these days, even though Houshmandzadeh seems to be the safer start. As far as that team's backfield, it gets ugly there as well. Kenny Watson does return from injury, but no one has any idea as far as what the order goes as far as 1, 2, 3, with Chris Perry and Cedric Benson also expected to get some carries. Next up, quarterback situation in Detroit just got a lot uglier. John Kitna was placed on injury reserve. Dan Orlovsky now will get another start. Drew Stanton gets to back him up. Now, this is a team that just traded Roy Williams to Dallas, so they don't have much left. Calvin Johnson is obviously there, but he's not going to have a big-time player to divert some of the attention. Also, Orlovsky wasn't too impressive this past weekend. He doesn't pass the ball all that much. It looks like Rudy Johnson, Kevin Smith, two guys are going to get the ball a lot more than Kevin Jones did last year, that's for sure. Next up, quarterback situation in Buffalo. Looks like Trent Edwards is expected back. Of course, the Cardinals punished him, gave him a concussion just a couple of weeks ago. He is fresh off a bye week, seems to be okay, has practiced with the club. He expects to be back out there. If not, J.P. Lossman will. Either way, Lee Evans will have his fantasy value. That's a guy who has a nice rapport with both quarterbacks for that team. So look for both of them to play. Of course, I'm talking about Edwards and Lee Evans. All right, next up, let's talk about the running back position. And big surprise, Shaun Alexander returns to the NFL as a backup. The former fantasy sensation is not going to get all that many carries. The fact is that Liddell Betts is injured. They're looking for a backup for Clinton Portis, and that's what Alexander will provide them with. Don't expect any more than 8 carries for the next couple of weeks. This is a guy who truly is going to be limited. Now, Zorn does have some experience with him back in Seattle. He remembers him during his glory days, but trust me, those days are in the rear view. Clinton Portis off to a sensational start. Not much value for Alexander the Great, but at the same time, good to see him back in the NFL. Well, my friends, that's all your fantasy insight for now. For all the news and headlines, definitely check us out at opensports.com. We'll keep you updated on that front. Until we meet again, I'll see you tomorrow right here at opensports.com.
So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.